So I'm here at UDS-Q with Marco and Ceppi. Marco, could you tell us a little bit about Juju and its story in relation to OMG Ubuntu?
Sure. So Juju is Canonical's service orchestration tool, and the idea behind it is you deploy services and you scale services in the cloud using Juju. So, in a roundabout way, it's a way to manage a cloud infrastructure and scale it up and down as you need with Juju. So, in relation to OMG Ubuntu, we recently deployed the entire OMG Ubuntu site in Amazon's cloud using Juju.
And what was involved in doing that? What was the process like?
So originally, Joey of OMG Ubuntu, his site went down. We reached out to him to move it, saying, we can help you deploy in the cloud and be scalable and faster and lighter. And so we ended up taking his data and then putting it into a charm, and encapsulating all of that data, what it takes to scale, and then putting it into the cloud using Juju.
What exactly is Juju doing in this? What role is it playing?
So yes, so Juju in and of itself is more of a client. What really we did was we built a charm for Joey. We said, Joey, here's a set of instructions myself and a few other people worked on. So this is exactly everything you need to do in order for your site to run and be scalable. So we took all of our expertise, our years of knowledge in scaling production web applications, our DevOps experience, put it in this charm so that Joey can easily run a few commands and add additional units, scale out, deploy his site again, redeploy it, and such. So we took our expertise and put it in a charm and made it so that him and anyone else can now consume and run production value WordPress and that can scale in the cloud. So that's really what Juju does for Joey, and what we did for Joey was make a charm for him to consume. Charms being what Juju uses to deploy stuff into the cloud.
And what does this mean for Juju, having such a use case under its belt?
So Juju, up until the case of OMG Ubuntu and running OMG on Juju, really had no production data yet. We had been using it and testing it against local stuff, but we haven't actually deployed an official production site. So what was great about OMG Ubuntu was not only was it a production site, but it was a production site with a lot of traffic and a very high visibility. A lot of people in the Ubuntu community follow the blog as it's one of the premier blogs for the Ubuntu community. So with Juju, we could show that, yes, you can take your expertise, you can encapsulate it in these charms, you can deploy it to the cloud, and you can scale it, and we can do it under the strain of a production timeline as well as production traffic. So it was a great use case for Juju to say, this is how you can actually use it in your environments.
So it was a great use case for Juju. It was a great test for Juju. How has it also benefited the OMG Ubuntu folks?
Well, it saved them money originally they were paying, I believe, somewhere around 200, 250 pounds for one server. And now under a normal day, they pay, I think, somewhere around 195, 200 USD for their production, and then when they need to, they can scale. And that's what Juju in the cloud does for OMG Ubuntu. Is on release day, Joey's site in OMG Ubuntu gets hit very hard, and it's been typical that every release day the OMG Ubuntu site goes down inevitably because there's no scaling on a single server. This last release day, we were able to maintain OMG Ubuntu up and serving the entire release time. So what we ended up doing is going from one single server to 6 servers, all serving OMG Ubuntu content. And then when all that's finished, Joey can then remove those servers and scale back down. So as his traffic and his needs and demands rise, he's able to scale OMG Ubuntu out and continue serving, and that also fetches him more ad revenue and maintains a happier community.
So effectively, the site is now more reliable, more stable, and cheaper for the folks to run.
Exactly.
And easy because they're using Juju.
And Juju makes it all easy and simple with a couple commands. He can go from one node to 6 and then back down to 1 again. So it takes a lot of that time and effort and knowledge that you'd require to log into machines, provision the machines, set up the machines, connect the machines into just a few commands.
And what kind of technical level does someone need to have to be able to work with Juju?
As far as using Juju to deploy charms, as long as you can open up a terminal and write a few commands, you'll be able to deploy stuff with Juju. Actually, writing charms is a little more involved. It requires a more in-depth knowledge of the service you're trying to encapsulate in a charm. And so that's where the expertise comes into place. So the experts are the ones writing the charms, and they're taking their experiences with everyday life and how they deploy that service, and they're putting it into a charm so that people like Joey and less technical users can come in and deploy it over and over and over again, receive the same results and the same high quality you would get from those experts who deploy in a production environment.
Fantastic. Is there anything else I've missed that you'd like to talk about?
I believe that's it. We learned a lot using the OMG Ubuntu site as our test case. I know George famously says when we deployed to the cloud originally, we deployed with an untested, unoptimized charm. So essentially, an app get installed WordPress, and then, of course, we had to run that on extra large instances in Amazon, so it ended up being about $3,900 a month. And so comically, we said, we moved you to the cloud, and now it's far more expensive than you imagine. That seems to be everyone's nightmare with moving to the cloud. But what was really the triumph of Juju was we did that, and we had a site running, but while we were doing that, we kept working on the charm. We said, okay, this is how we tweak this portion. We change something on the server, we put it in the charm, and then we'd redeploy. And we went from from 3 extra larges to run the site, down to 1 medium, down to 1 small that could scale horizontally when needed. So we originally started running with $3,900 in a month in the cloud, but we brought it down to a little less than $200 for standard production. So it shows the power of Juju in being able to rapidly iterate, and that whole DevOps mentality of agility, being able to rapidly iterate, retest, and redeploy over and over and over again, and receive the same results, and eventually scale, pare down your services to be completely optimized.
Fantastic. Thank you for talking to us.
Well, thank you.